Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention. Right now, I'm not going to answer questions. We're going to look at an example. So have a seat. Quickly. Okay, we're going over systems again. I want you to listen if you're one of the people that's having trouble with that. So please listen and follow along. I'm just going to talk my way through it, and I'm going to give you tips on things to look for, because we're making some simple mistakes. First of all, I'm hoping everyone knows that it is y equals mx plus b. What is m? Slope, which when we're looking at it, we're talking about rise, which is how we move up and down, over run, which is how we move left to right. The primary mistake I'm seeing made with that, on the people that are still struggling, is that you're getting your positives and negatives mixed up. So you want to be careful with that. I'm going to go over again how we try to watch that and make sure we check it at the end. What is B? What is B? Y-intercept, not y and x, only y. Intercept, okay? So this is the y-intercept. This is where I start on the y-axis. This is where it's going to begin, on the y-axis. So when I look at this first equation up here, and this is the one I'm going to do in purple, what is my y-intercept? I'm doing number 2, the very first equation. Positive 3. So I start at positive 3. Now, before you start graphing anything else, I really need you to write down the slope, and you've got to be careful with what you write down. What is the slope on the first equation? Is that a negative or a positive? Positive 2. So how do I write 2 as a fraction? This is another bit of an issue. Yes, ma'am. 2 over 1. Positive divided by positive would be a positive, correct? Those of you that are working on today's, I just need your patience for a minute, so you need to be quiet while we talk. So positive divided by positive is a positive. What else gives me a positive? A negative over a negative. Wonderful. So negative 2 over negative 1. Everybody see how I'm getting both of those? I want you to write both down. Now, if when you're doing any problem like this, you can actually label it, there is nothing wrong with doing positive, positive, and then over here I've kind of written on top of it, but this side would be negative. So now, I want to do this one as much as I can. So if I start here, how much am I going to rise according to this ratio? 2. So I start here, I rise up 2 blocks like I would drive a car. Then how much am I going to run? 1. So I run over 1. So I rose up 2, run over positive 1. There's my new point. Am I going to be able to do that again? No. So I've got to switch to this version of it. So if I'm going down 2, which direction do I have to run? Left. So that would be my next point. Then I do it again. Down 2, left 1. You can do this until you run out of space. I've told you I want at least 3 points, but you can do as many as you need. Okay, so I've just kept repeating the pattern of down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, till I run out of space. Now I've got a nice line. And with these, it's really important that I do a valid count, because there are a couple of people that the simple little thing they're doing is they're just only doing maybe 2, 3 points at the most, and then they're trying to hand draw a line in, and they're missing the correct points on that line. So it's very important that you count them out. All right, now we've got that one, so we're good with that one. I'm going to switch colors now. We're now looking at this line. I want to look at this line right here, okay? First of all, where am I going to start this one that I'm doing in green? Negative 2. And if you have different colors, I don't mind you doing that. Okay, so I start at negative 2. So then now I've got to write down my slope. So what is my slope on that second equation? So you can look at your paper, it's the number 2 that you have in front of you. Negative 3. Okay, and it's not the x, it's just the negative 3 that's the slope, right? So negative 3, how do I write that as a fraction? Yes, ma'am. I heard that from several people. I'm really proud. I knew you knew it. So some of us have still had a little trouble with that, but I'm not seeing that as much now. So, oh, I have to keep it this way. I can't move the 1 up top, so be careful with that. They have to stay in the same spot. The only thing I can switch is the negative. Because either one of these, if I divide them out, am I going to get a negative at the end? What's a negative divided by a positive? Let's go back to the triangle. A A negative divided by a positive is going to result in a, whoops, you can't see it, can you? Okay, so negative divided by a positive is a negative. If I went this way, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Use the triangle to check and make sure it's negative. Now, I forgot a really important thing before I went on to the green line, and I don't want you forgetting this, because this is something that I'm seeing a lot. What kind of slope were we supposed to have on the purple line? Is this a positive line? Yes. So as you graph each line, please look at it. If it is not the correct sign, if it's not a positive slope, you need to go back and reevaluate your work because something went wrong. Okay, so this time it's supposed to be negative. So for here, I'm going to go down 3, negative 1, 2, 3. Then which way do I go? Right 1. And I put a point. Am I going to be able to do that again? I don't have enough room, so this is why I need 2 versions of it. And I can keep making points as long as I need to, but if I find that intersection within 2 or 3 points, there's no reason to go on. But you do need to draw your line appropriately. Alright, so now I'm going to rise positive 3, so up 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to run negative 1. And I put another point. Oh, have we crossed lines finally? Yes. So I'm going to draw in this line here, and just because I crossed, I don't want to just assume that I got it right. Because a lot of times, even if I make a mistake, they're still going to cross on this grid. So I want to check this. What kind of slope was it supposed to have? Negative. Is this a negative line? Yes. So I can feel fairly confident I did the right thing. I also might want to double check, because this is the other major mistake. These were y-intercepts. Did I have positive 3 on the y-axis with the purple line? Yes. Did I have negative 2 on the y-axis with the green line? Yes. So check your intercepts at the end too. They should always start on y when you're doing a slope-intercept equation. Any questions about that? Okay, I'm going to change this one, and I'm going to talk about 2 different types of lines real quick because I just want to review them. I don't know that they're showing up on this homework, but they are on some of them. So very quickly, I want to go over what if x equals negative 3. Okay, so in the green, please focus. This is the one time. This equation is the only time I'm not going to start on y. Because what are they telling me is important? X, and this is a special case. This is not slope-intercept form. So if x is supposed to equal negative 3, if I start at the origin, where do I go for x to be negative 3? Left, 3 units right there, x is negative 3. The only condition on this line, it doesn't truly have a condition of intercept and slope or any of that really. I mean, it does have those things, but there's no condition in the equation. All it says is that x has to be negative 3. So if I moved over here, would x still be negative 3? What's the x value right here? Positive 2, so it didn't stay the same. So I can't move to the right. Could I move to the left and it still be negative 3? No, but what about if I move down? Is x value still negative 3? It doesn't matter what y is. All that's important is that x is negative 3. So that would work right there. That's negative 4 for which one, though? What axis is this on? Y. But what has to be negative 3? X. Is x still negative 3 here? Yep. Do you see what I'm saying? So all that's important is this condition, that x is negative 3 the entire time. So if I move up here, is x still negative 3? So what's your x value? Negative 3. It doesn't matter that y is 4. What's important is that x is negative 3. So any point that I put on this line right here, x is going to be negative 3. Does that make sense? Okay, let's look at the other side of this. What if I had the equation, let's write it up here, y equals 2. If I start again at the origin, where am I going to find y equals 2? Is that y? Do y'all agree? Oh, I would go up. So here is y is 2. Okay? So y equals 2. If I move down here, is y still 2? What kind of 2 is that? Negative 2. That's still not y is 2. What about if I was up here? Y is 5, right? So y would change if I moved up and down. But what if I move over here to the right? What's the y value where my pin is right now? The y value there is 2. I'm losing a few of you. I know I've spent a lot of time talking today, more than usual, but you need to focus. So what's my y value right here? 2. If I move over here, is y also still going to be 2? Yes. So if I had to graph the line y equals 2, this is where it would be. Okay, any questions about those? These two are special. They are not the same as slope-intercept form. You have to treat them differently. Okay, you have the rest of the hour to work on today's. I really don't want anyone